For teachers,
Yep.
just to say, often there's this kind of paralysis of integrity, I call it, where teachers go, "Oh no, it's an Aboriginal character. I can't get the students to play the role or speak the role." Go, "No, this is a play to be performed. It's a play to be spoken. I would much rather the words sit in people's bodies than sit in their heads." It doesn't mean you're Aboriginal just because you say a word.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's trying to say, what does it mean to say these words? Where does it come from? And there are so many different ways of learning. And, we're all involved in drama. We understand that the experiential is important. Just historically, it's interesting to think about 1988 and the bicentennial year, which actually started a whole big conversation about Australia looking at itself and especially its First Nations history, its Aboriginal history. So that period of time, the late 80s into the early 90s, there was a big kind of sense of tell us your story, tell us your story. And theatre and eventually film were the great ways of doing that. So the politics of it was really about saying, actually, we don't know Aboriginal people. This is the broader population. How do we get to know you? And our theatre and our storytelling and understanding personal life stories was part of it. And we were then juxtaposing the 7 phases of Aboriginal history with the 5 stages of dying and realizing how they related to each other. And the great question I put to any student about this play is going, what's the eighth stage of Aboriginal history now? Because are we beyond reconciliation? Where are we now? Even the term dream time, I am so sick of that. It's a kind of, but it's a diminishing of the complexity of what we're really talking about, or creation myths or creation stories. And you go, actually, they're a very complex map of storytelling that talks about country and connection to it, and mores and ethics, and there's a whole range of things there that every time you try to translate into English, you have to dumb it down.
Why did you choose a non-linear form and not a conventional sort of beginning, middle, end narrative?
I think as young people, we said we don't want to be stuck in a Western form being told how to do things. And yes, there's agitprop, there's clear Brechtian techniques, there's a kind of retelling and repositioning of history. There are all these things that we're doing, and we want to not have to be stuck to one set of rules.
The show's normally very minimal. It has a minimalistic kind of thing because it's about storytelling. There's multiple role playing by the actress. You use projections. There is a lot of symbolism within the show. How do you create tension with just one actor?
In the 7 stages of grieving, the unspoken antagonist, if you like, is society. There's history and society that hopefully, touch wood, everyone in the theatre has brought to the reading of the work. And so the tension is actually between hearing this person's perspective of it and what you're holding in your head.
What would you hope an audience takes away from something like the 7 stages of grieving?
The notion of saying to the audience, now you've heard this story, it's your responsibility to do something about it. That both bitterness and guilt are incredibly useless feelings, but they are fuels for what action could be. And so, no use sitting around feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Do something about it. The more articulate young people are about their feelings and their engagement with the world, the better world we're going to all inherit if they feel encouraged to do that.